fringe elements, Ryan Falk once talked about how the emotions you have when you feel like you're a part of a group, you're a part of a family, you're a part of a group with friends, or if you are visiting a camp or some activity like that, that these emotions of being in a collective and feeling like a family and sharing things and all that. Ryan Falk suggested long ago that this is what socialists use. This is what the state uses. Now, I don't think I am representing it correctly, but the thing is, what the state as an institution is actually taking advantage of is not merely you going to a certain place with certain people and sharing your resources. It's not like you're going on a trip with the church. What really is happening is that the state takes the role of the father of the family, and suddenly you are not just having a brother, sister, or you're not alone. You have a family called the nation, and the state will take care of you like your mom and dad. We can see that many people may not find closure when a relative dies, when their mother or father goes away due to death or due to being unable to take care of them anymore because they're adults or anything like that. Or perhaps they have some kind of an issue because their father or mother was absent in their childhood. For example, if the mother was busy working, especially if we're talking about a family that is struggling to make ends meet, in which both parents work, or in which we're talking about a single parent. I am not saying socialism is a tendency of single parenthood. I don't necessarily believe that. I believe that socialism comes from the desire of any person that is biologically adult, biologically above 18, to find a new parent, to find a new figure that will take care of him, that will nourish him. Statism is this. It is the idea that you can find your parents again, when in fact the truth is that you won't, and that the age in which your troubles were taken care of by other people, the age in which you transferred your weight to somebody else, this age is gone, and it's not going to return. We can see that the common people who accept socialism are not much different from kids, and I'm not saying that in an insulting way, but rather in an understanding way. They want to feel like there is a safety net, like if they screw up, somebody will carry the weight. This might be due to parenting, as Stefan Molyneux suggested, and in many ways you might become a communist. I don't know, even if for some reason you consider the employer, your mom or dad, to be the reason you don't have contact with them and they do not take care of you. So you want to go against the employer, or you want to make sure that mommy and daddy do not work so much so that they can take care of you. Now, if this is not the case, you're feeling a void and you need to fill the void. And the state comes right in and tells you that we will take care of you. It invents ideas like nation, like blood and all that. We have common blood, common ancestors, and the state traces your origins to some common ancestor and says, this is the reason you should obey. And if you obey, you will be part of the family and you will have others obey to you. And if you obey, you will be the state, etc., etc. And it's never ending. It's never ending, and in reality, the only way to beat this monster at its root is by making an introspection and understanding yourself. It is nigh impossible to convince somebody to give up socialism entirely, and the reason is he will always feel a void. It is not generally a common phenomenon for a child to not feel like he still needs its parent. Even when you're above 18, even when you're an adult, you do feel like you need this safety net, and you don't really care about the fact that your parent was carrying you, that he was carrying your weight. You don't really care about the fact that it was a responsibility from the point of view of the parent, and that your parent was being honest, suffering. Your parent was suffering to carry you throughout the tough situation. And people don't see that. They don't understand that the weight that the parent carried is your own weight, their own weight, and that now they do have to carry this weight, and there is no way to postpone it or to find reasons to avoid it. This is responsibility. This is the responsibility that comes with freedom. And most people hate freedom. They might say they love freedom in paper and in conversations, but in reality they despise it. And in a free world, we might find that many people might freely choose to become slaves, to have a full dish of food each day, to have enough water, to make their ends meet, and that's it. They might even prefer having an actual master to take care of them. Because the free man is essentially a lonely man, a very lonely man. And even worse, he's a lonely man that has accepted being alone. And even though he may be next to other free men, he's still alone, and they are still alone with him. Even though they are together, they are alone. Because freedom comes with loneliness. And yet, you might find camaraderie, and yet you will still be alone. As I said, the state takes advantage of this emotion, the emotion that the men going their own way called male mother need. I call it the need to transfer responsibility to a parent, or the need of a parent. This particular need, in a generalized form, is not exclusive to males. In fact, it is inclusive of the entire human species. And in reality, the moment of adulthood, the point of adulthood, is the point at which you really understand, you realize that it's over. And if your parents are still alive, that they are not obliged to carry your weight anymore. And even worse, that nobody is to take their position ever in your life. And even worse than that, that you might, if you decide to have a family, that you might have to carry this weight, the weight of another human being in the future. But here's the deal. The only human being that you should ever carry its weight is your child, nobody else. It's not your wife, it's not your friends, and even if it is your friends might temporarily need your help, and they might help you in return. But it is not the relationship of parent and child, because this relationship is essentially symbiotic, and at the same time it's slavery. It's mutual slavery, because the parent tries to serve the child, and the child tries to serve the parent in any way possible. But the idea of socialism is nothing but the miasma, the mold that grows in between this healthy attachment to your parent. And the only way to defeat socialism in your own mind is to find a closure when it comes to your need of your parents. You must, for example, treat your parents like human beings, not like gods that will provide anything. And the same, essentially, is implied for every human being around you. And the state is nothing more than the apparatus that is redistributing the purchasing power of other human beings. Essentially, it is enslaving these human beings to you, or to anybody who is using them. It is enslaving you to other human beings. And usually the way it does that is by using this emotional attachment of people who will take care of the poor, as if the poor need anybody to take care of them. I don't believe many people want this thing to be beggars. I don't believe that a poor man will want handouts. It's not exactly a dignified approach to life. But even if he did, I don't think this would be moral to enslave other people for the sake of a poor man or any man. The socialists need to understand that the age of them being children is over. They're adults, they probably have jobs, and of course they vote. Every 4 or 5 years they vote. And they vote thinking about replacing their parents. Essentially they are children, and they are voting as children, not as adults. An adult might as well not vote, because he understands that any kind of vote would essentially be transferring responsibility to somebody else, which is pointless. This is basically what I want to say in this audio recording. Socialism is an autoimmune disease. It is a disease of the mind, a mental illness. illness. And I, for one, personally, admit that I used to be a socialist for a large part of my life. Now, my socialism in the beginning was red, and then it was brown, or close to brown. I was, to some extent, a nationalist. And then I became who I am now, by abandoning all these spooks of the mind, by understanding that it is just you and the world, and there is nothing in between. There is no cover, no alibi. You can no longer hide behind your finger. It's time to rise up and to take what is yours. Thank you for listening.